Boys, girls, and everyone else, welcome back to another Destiny Rising video. In this one, we have more information on Helhest. She is our new character coming to the game probably within the week or at least a week's time, and I'll tell you why I feel like that's a confident statement, as well as what her kit looks like. And yes, it is confirmed, she is our first primary bow user. And there is a returning exotic, it looks like, from the trailer that we are going to be getting back into the Destiny universe. I believe it was in either Destiny 1 or 2, don't hold me to that, but it is a returning exotic. So we can break down a lot from this trailer. We're going to cover it, and then we're going to talk about it a little bit more. So let's go ahead and get straight to it. Now, first things first, why do I think she's coming out in about a week's time? We've been on this weekly cadence for maintenance updates every Thursday, and usually we already have this information. And it looks like, well, we're not getting a maintenance update today. So maybe I missed it, maybe I didn't, I don't know. That maybe they communicated this somewhere else. Let me know in the comments if that's the case. But it looks like, based off everything else in the game, that the battle pass resets, the different seasonal elements reset next week. So it seems like next week makes the most sense. So again, if we go over here and we go to our battle pass, whoops, hello, oh, Sparrow Racing's here, hell yeah, we're gonna cover that in a different video. So if you look at the battle pass ends in 6 days and 22 hours. And if you go to the season, this also changes in 6 days and 22 hours to Arc. So it leads us to believe that, well, next week we're going to be getting this character. All right, so let's talk about Helhest. Helhest is the newest character coming to Destiny Rising. Let's go ahead, I'll play it straight through and then we'll break it down because there is actually a lot to break down. So let's go.
High-value target location confirmed, Lord Felwinter.
Commence recovery operation.
Nice.
Only ends one way.
All right. So she is without a doubt arc and piercing. Now let's break down a lot more. So if we go through it, obviously this is a cool part right here where she talks to
High-value target location.
Lord Felwinter, and you hear his voice. All right, so that's a cool part. First off, this is a linear fusion rifle. Why do we know that? Well, you watched my video the other day, but also they confirm it over here in the description. Arsenal is a bow and linear fusion rifle. So that is good. That is information that we had speculated, but now is confirmed. This is the linear fusion rifle. That's going to be her heavy weapon. If we continue watching, though, there is a part I want to call out. Obviously, the bow is sick. First off, the bow is absolutely awesome. The confirmation of a bow in Destiny Rising is fantastic. This is an exotic bow. I forgot the name, but it was in either Destiny 2 or 1. But there's one part that I think a lot of people that are reacting to this are overlooking. And there appears to be two different effects to this bow when either you are ADS and when you're not ADS. And if you're not sure what ADS means, or you're just new to the FPS realm, ADS means aim down sight. So look very carefully and I'll pause it. So this is a hip fire, but she very quickly turns away. So we don't see the effect, right? But we see it again here in a second. Now that's an ADS, so it appears to be we're just gonna call it a piercing round, or maybe even a more higher damaged round, because it seems to be a little bit more charged up. But this is another hip fire shot. All right, so the hip fire shot is now doing AoE, or at least chain lightning. So it looks like the arrow is right there. There is 2 arrows. I think she only shot 1. I think this is just, artwork where she, maybe shot another one at a different point that wasn't shown or something like that. Maybe it was 2 arrows, I don't know. But we only saw her shoot 1. And we can rewind it a few seconds and double check me. Actually, that looked like 3 arrows. Yeah, there is 3 arrows. Wait a minute. Now that I'm looking at this again. Ah, look at that pausing skill. So she did shoot 3 arrows. And it did AoE damage. So it looks like, again, a lot of this is assumptions, right? We don't know any of this for sure. I'm just going based off my reaction to this. This makes it seem like she does AoE damage when it's hip fire. And that could be the effect of the exotic bow. In fact, it very probably is. So maybe you do piercing damage if it is ADS, whereas if you do hip fire, you're just doing AoE damage, which is pretty sick. That's a pretty cool combination, in my opinion. All right, let's continue on because there's more. All right, so so that was the first bot that she summoned, or drone. All right, that was very quick, but I want you to keep that drone in mind for a second. So it immediately flew overhead, okay? Now we have 2 drones, all right? I think her 2, and you can see there's 2 different like beams coming off, and there's gonna be another picture or still that we're gonna be able to pause and I'll clarify. This drone is green, which in almost every game is healing. And we do know that she is a support character that can both do damage and heal with her drones. So I am inclined to believe that one of her specials is going to be a healing drone, to summon a healing drone that probably just like hovers around and heals nearby allies. I think that was the first one we saw. And I think the other one, which we're going to see here in a second, is going to be the damage drone right here, where you actually target, you saw the red circle ever so briefly, and it does damage to that. Now, she could summon these drones randomly. It could just be a passive where, if she has enough super, she just, spawns drones. Or it could be tied to an active special. I think those are her 2 specials. I think it'll be different than What's-Her-Face that we just got, where one of them was a summon and the other one was like attack this sort of thing. Estella, excuse me. But there's more. That's her finish. This is her ultimate, obviously. It's her super. Excuse me, I know I'm going to get wrecked for that. All right, so you see the healing drone, and the one I'm speculating to be healing drone, and a much bigger drone that's doing damage. All right, so this is the still frame I was talking about. So you can see that we have what I believe to be a damage drone, a healing drone, and her super drone. Pretty badass. And this also tells us that she's obviously a summoner, so she's going to be benefiting from artifacts and relics that are summon related. You're going to probably build her very much like Estella, in my opinion, where a lot of your damage is going to be focused on your drones. But it's the unknown piece with the bow that I'm really excited about. I think that was all. And obviously she's fighting a piercing Sheikah there, so that's just confirms that. All right. Now, the other thing I wanted to point out to you guys and bring attention to is end game. So again, we could see this is, 6 days and 22 hours is likely when she's coming out, because that's when the new seasonal cycle will change. But the battle pass also changes. And in the battle pass, we saw that there was a exotic. Now, it was Furies. Furies is crazy. Furies. I'm inclined to believe that the new bow will be the exotic weapon in the battle pass. You can't tell me otherwise based off how this is all timing and lining up. And Furies was also kind of tied to Estella, and she was sort of like the season 1 character, whereas Gwen was season 0 and was already out, so there wasn't necessarily a specific exotic in the battle pass tailored to her, because there wasn't necessarily a battle pass for season 0, but there was a season 1. So I think that makes a lot of sense, which means if you're interested in pulling for this character and you've been saving up your resources, that there is a really good chance that you could actually get her exotic, for free in the battle pass, which is, I think, a really exciting part of it. Now, the other part I want to call out is the linear fusion rifle, which we do have on Atal, and the only one we have is end of the line. So I would hold off on going for this one, because I'm inclined to believe that if they're adding a bow for season 2, that they could be adding other weapons, including legendaries, and mythics, excuse me. So hold off on it. Not that end of the line is bad, but I would hate to have a better one come out and you waste all your resources. So when we talk about resources and, how should you be saving for them, if you go to your inventory, there is a very obvious way of doing this. So you want to have a ton of these parameters. The mythic weapon parameters is the best way to sort of farm and tailor your god tier rolls for that of the legendary weapon that you're trying to pull for, or mythic weapon you're trying to pull for. I keep saying legendary just because that's what I'm used to from Diablo Immortal, so sorry for that. In this game, it's mythic, and then exotic is the higher tier. But So you can see I already have 1600, which actually isn't that much. And what is the best way of farming for these? I'm so glad you asked. There actually is an event going on that's going to help you with that, and that's Morgan's Hunt. And you do have a day and 22 hours, so basically almost 2 full days of the time of this recording / video going live. So if you go to activities, you can more or less farm this. Not more or less, you can straight up farm this endlessly, because for every key you get, and for every run, you're probably going to get somewhere between 3 and 4 keys. You get 25, so you can get 100 essentially, which is a free mythic, parameter summon essentially. For every 100, you can use it to make 1 gun. So you can, every run, which can take somewhere between 3 to 5 minutes, you can get a whole new gun. So you could easily farm this endlessly without using your beloved pinnacle energy. So do that for the next 2 days. Get ready, grind up on your mythic weapon parameters. That's what I'm going to be doing as well. That way, whenever the new mythic weapons come out for her, or in general for any character, you have a lot of this resource to then farm for, or you've already farmed for it, so then you can summon for the gun that you want or pull for it. So that's it for this video, guys. Hopefully you found it helpful. I think that we actually do have a lot of information now from her. I'm very excited about it. I can't wait to try her out. The bow coming to the game is just so sick, and I cannot wait to see how good it is in game. Let me know what you guys think about all this in the comment section below. Hope to see you guys in a video soon. See you later. Bye.